not to touch it from a
Wow.
10-foot pole, not to just keep your distance away for Trump. That is what the donor class is telling us.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
That brings me to my second announcement that I'm going to make today. This is an announcement of a letter that my campaign has sent to every other campaign in this race, to Mike Pence, to Nikki Haley, to Larry Elder, to RFK Jr.
It's crazy how Vivek Ramaswamy is getting so much popularity now because just a few months ago, nobody really knew who he was. But now, like, when people start listening to his ideals and stuff, people are like, wow, I kind of like this stuff. And it's crazy because someone like Vivek, I hope I'm saying his name right, has no history behind political parties or affiliations. He was an entrepreneur. Yet, when he's running for the presidency, he has a very strong chance of swaying people with him. And in this video right here, he's talking about if he was to win the presidency, one of his first acts would be to indict Donald Trump on any of his charges. So this is going to be a pretty interesting video. If you have any more suggestions, comment down below. Let me know what you feel about Vivek, and let's get right into it.
To Marianne Williamson, to Doug Burgum, to Perry Johnson, to Chris Christie, to Ron DeSantis, the governor of the state where we are today, who by any measure is not here today in his own state, I will tell you that we have sent this letter, and I'm happy to announce, this is my commitment on January 20th, 2025, if I'm elected the next U.S. president, to pardon Donald J. Trump for these offenses in this federal case.
There you have it. Y'all heard, bro. You cannot make this up. Vivek Ramaswamy said if he were to win president, he said the date and everything. One of his first acts would be to pardon Donald Trump. Let me know how y'all feel about that. I'm gonna be honest. I don't even know what Trump would be getting pardoned for. So, because I'm not really into politics, if I'm being. So somebody please let me know. But it's just crazy how Vivek Ramaswamy. He doesn't really. I've never heard of him in the political realm. Like, usually there's the big hitters like Candace Owens, Ben Shapiro, of course Trump, President Biden, Barack Obama. There's big hitters in this industry, but I've never heard of him. So it's crazy how, just from the entrepreneurial perspective and someone who has he gains nothing from supporting Trump. Who gains nothing from supporting anyone. He's already rich, so he has no financial gain in this. I don't think he cares to be famous because he would have been tried to be famous for all the diseases he's cured. But even still, he's decided to pardon our former president, Donald Trump. And I find that extremely interesting because someone who knows little about politics, I'm like, wow, why is that one of your first decisions when you decide to get in office? Is it something that, I don't know, was Donald Trump wrongfully arrested, I guess? Like, what makes you want to make this decision?
And I have challenged, I have demanded that every other candidate in this race either sign this commitment to pardon on January 20th, 2025, or else to explain why they are not. And I will tell you something. It's going to be difficult for those other candidates to sign this letter. The reason it's going to be difficult for them
calling people
is
out.
The same reason it's difficult for me. The donor class has been calling every Republican candidate and telling us to stay away from this. Not to touch it from a 10-foot pole. Not to just keep your distance away for Trump. That is what the donor class is telling us. That's what they're telling the other candidates. I refuse to abide.
That is crazy. Is that true? That is crazy. He just said the donors, like the people who I guess are funding the election. I don't even know what the donor class means. I'm just using my context clues. But the people who are funding the Republican Party or whatever the crap, man, I don't know, are saying to stay away from this case. And that's why people I'm assuming weren't touching it. It's always so interesting when I do videos like this because it's like I'm reacting strictly away from the context of the situation. But I'm like, wow, if that's the case, if people are actually staying away from the situation because they're going to get less donations and their goals are strictly monetary, then that is crazy, considering that you're running for office where you're supposed to be supporting the people. All I'm saying is that kind of goes into the character of the person. If you're already being swayed by monetary gain in reference to a position where you're supposed to be supporting the people and upholding our laws of the United States, then how could we trust you to run the country? That's a genuine question. It's not even about your policies. It's more so about your ethical principles. If you can't even stand right now when you're running, just imagine the sway that you'll have as the president of the United States. What will happen if someone came to you and said that we'll give you X amount of money if you pass this bill? Will you consider us as your citizens, or will you consider how much money you're going to get? He's talking about all of that.
By being a disciple of the donor class. I think that we need to declare independence from our donor class in the Republican Party. That is why I challenge every one of the other candidates to actually act on their convictions. If you're not going to pardon President Trump on January 2025, you deserve to say why, and we will hold you accountable, just as we're holding the Biden administration accountable. That's what we need more of in this country. Honesty, integrity, and actual purpose for our country in a way that puts America first, not our political interests first. And I'll close with saying this before I take questions. It would be a lot easier for me as a Republican candidate in this race if Donald Trump were not in it. But I don't want to win this election, unlike others, by eliminating our competition, by a federal administrative police state arresting my opponents. I want to do it the way that our founding fathers believed we should have, starting in 1776. That it is the people of this country, where every person's voice and vote counts equally. That is how we decide who governs this country, not by a federal administrative police state. And I challenge the Biden administration with this FOIA request. I challenge my fellow contenders in this race with this commitment letter to say that we will pardon Trump on January 20th, 2025, and nobody, either Biden or the other contenders in this race, are going to be able to hide from that truth.
Wow, that was an earful, man. That was an earful. I will say this, man, because I actually agree with his premise that we're supposed to look after, if you're in office or you're a citizen of the United States, your main prerogative should not be supporting one specific political party over the other. It should be for the well-being of the United States as a country and as a whole. So that's your first and foremost objective, because it doesn't matter what political party you support if the United States isn't the United States. Secondly, I have a question. What if Trump isn't supposed to be pardoned? Like, I personally don't know what Trump did. I don't know what reasons behind him even being indicted were. So, as a citizen of the United States, what would you say to me asking why would an upstanding presidential candidate want to pardon Trump? Like, why does he deserve to be pardoned? I'm not saying this from ill intent. I genuinely want to know if what he did was what called for him not to be indicted, what he did wasn't that bad, and what he did was lawfully correct, then of course I understand where he's coming from. If that's the case, then of course people need to be looking into this and trying to do what's best for the country and what's best for its citizens, because at the end of the day, Donald Trump is a citizen of this country. All in all, I think Vivek is extremely intelligent. He's very just in he's very just. But I like him. If you have any more suggestions for me, comment them down below. Smash the subscribe button and like button. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.